rescue here in San Diego County. So everybody, please welcome Banjo, our raccoon. Look how cute he is. Now, I might get distracted talking about him because he is very adorable and very distracting, and he's always on the move. So, as I said, this here is Banjo, and he is a rescue. We partner up with an amazing organization called Project Wildlife, where their whole goal is to help animals in need, but a lot of local species. And they hope to rehabilitate them and then release them back into their native habitat. Now, sometimes those animals cannot be released back into their environment because they may need a little extra help, or in Banjo's case, he was a little bit too comfortable with people. So he found a forever home right here at the San Diego Zoo, and he has been here for about 4 or 5 years now. So he is fantastic. Now, raccoons, they're incredibly smart. They're great at problem solving. He keeps our brain stimulated, just trying to keep him stimulated. As part of our job as wildlife care specialists, we always want to, keep our animals up physically, but also mentally. And so definitely he is one of the guys that we have a lot of fun helping him out with. We've got a lot of different types of puzzle feeders and fur things to get his hands in. Oh, we're gonna climb too. Okay, cool, I'll get out of the way. They like to use their hands a lot. And how many have ever seen like maybe a video of a raccoon dunking something in water? Probably a bunch of you, right? So they're not actually cleaning whatever the item, which maybe some of that is, but they have a lot of receptors in their hands, and so this allows them to kind of basically identify what object they have, so they can better know what they're playing around with or eating. So they are very much about their hands, and as you saw, he is an amazing climber. Their wrists can rotate a lot further around, so they're excellent at climbing. His habitat is really fun to play around with and mix up as well, because he can't get to those heights as well. He is always so cute. You can see they can basically kind of walk on those back feet, and they are more active at night. That's when they're a little bit more active, but Banjo, he's active all the time because why not? He's a lot of fun. He's got an amazing relationship with a bunch of us care specialists here at the zoo ever since he came here, and I think he did a fantastic job. Everybody, please give it up for Banjo. Oh, Banjo, that's what I call him. Our raccoon. Thank you. All right. Well, next up, our next wildlife ambassador is also in our Southwest Conservation Hub, and you actually might see one of them, or these in your backyard as well, maybe kind of close to a raccoon. So everybody, please give it up for Penelope.
Oh yeah.
Our Virginia opossum.
She's so cute.
Let's see, she's making her way slowly but surely. Come on. Let's go. Do I need to tap a little bit? Now, Penelope, she's actually a rescue as well. She came from Project Wildlife too. Come on, girlfriend. She's thinking about it. Penelope, good job. Here she comes. Good girl. So she is a rescue as well, and she's actually an older rescue. She is about she's probably almost 3 years old now. They guesstimated this because when she went to Project Wildlife, she was actually somebody's pet beforehand, which you should not have opossums as pet, everybody. But if you didn't know this, Virginia opossums, they basically live hard and die young. So basically an old opossum lives to be maybe about 3 years old. We've had opossums in our care live to be about 4 years of age. So that's why sometimes she may need a little bit of help out here, coming out here, stretch out her older lady legs. But as I said, she is a Virginia opossum, so I like to stress opossum. because don't want you to get confused with possums. They are the only marsupial in North America, which means that the females have a pouch to raise their young. Pretty incredible little journey that they do with them. When the babies are born, they're like the size of a Rice Krispie, not the treat, just one little Rice Krispie, and then they crawl into the pouch where they can develop and get a little bit bigger, and then eventually when they start getting bigger, they start climbing out of the pouch and then climbing on mom's back so that, oh sorry Dave, so that they can traverse a little bit better with mom. And then once they're big enough and they get more comfortable, then they can start climbing on the ground, and then after a little bit, then they go away from mom and become big kid opossums. Now opossums kind of get a bad rap. A lot of people are a little bit weary of them, but I am here to tell you that they are a very incredible species. They are definitely something that we need to have in our local environments because they're kind of like the cleanup crew of our environments. They're going to take care of any, overripened fruit or vegetables in the area, or any of those pesky bugs that we probably don't want, like say in our gardens and things like that. They are super helpful with taking care of the tick population, which ticks are very bad with spreading Lyme's disease. And so one opossum can eat thousands of ticks in 1 year. So this is extremely crucial for keeping that tick and Lyme disease population down. So very, very helpful. They also are pretty incredible in the fact that they can survive rattlesnake bites, which, cool thing to have, but it's actually really important for us too. They have used this amazing ability of opossums to help us with getting anti-venom for rattlesnakes. So if we ever get bit, that is where this kind of stemmed from, that anti-venom. So very, very important that they are around. Now, how many of you have ever heard of playing possum or playing dead? Yeah, so this is a really cool adaptation that they have when they encounter a predator out there. Their heart rate is going to this is a whole involuntary response. Their heart rate's going to slow down. Their even their body temperature goes down a little bit. Everything slows down. They literally flop on their side, and they'll give off this really gross smell, kind of like that they're already dead, in hopes that the predator is going to leave them and go the other way and get something that is a lot fresher and a lot more appeasing to eat. So this is definitely a defense mechanism that's been very helpful from an evolutionary standpoint. So if you ever encounter a possum that may be playing possum, give it a little bit. Give it like 10-15 minutes, and then see if it was just playing opossum, or if you need to take care of it. So, opossums, they actually have the most teeth out of any mammal. They've got about 50 teeth, all razor sharp. Even though they are omnivores, they basically eat everything. Those teeth are very sharp. She gets a variety of different things here today. She's getting some fish as well as some kibble and a bunch of veggies. And then sometimes she'll get insects as well. All right, are you ready to go, girlfriend? Here she goes. When she turns around, I want all of you to see her tail. Oh, there was a little dropped piece of kibble. You got it? She likes to clean her plate. There we go. You see that tail of hers? Look at it, super cute.
Awesome
that
booty.
Tail, when they're younger, it is pretty prehensile. They can hang upside down with that tail when they're younger and smaller. But once they get a little bit bigger, they can't quite hold their whole weight, but it is still very helpful for balance, especially when they're climbing. All right, well, she's fantastic out here. Everybody, please give it up for Penelope, our Virginia opossum. All right, well, for the rest of our presentation, I'm going to leave you in some very good hands. Everybody, please welcome my co-care specialist,
Put the bag
Raina.
over here.
So let's give it up for Jessica one more time, everybody.
Sorry.
All right.
Raina.
Don't you worry, we still got plenty of friends to meet. For our next friend, we are going to be stepping away from our hubs and focusing on San Diego Zoo's one health approach to saving species worldwide. And to sum this up, it means that the health of people, wildlife, and the habitats they all share are, of course, all interconnected. And who better represents this than, of course, the domestic canine. So canines have been helping us out for almost 30,000 years, whether that be through guarding our livestock, helping to serve in the military. But wouldn't you also know they also help out in conservation? They do this through utilizing their superpower, which is their super sniffer. Canines can smell about 100,000 times better than us, and we do have a friend here today who's going to be showing off just this. And he is pretty popular here at the zoo. He's a little bit famous, no big deal. He does love a crowd, and he loves it when we get nice and loud. So let's get nice and loud for the one, the only, it's Elvis, the super dog.
Elvis.
There he is. So Elvis here is a 9-year-old. Oh, nice, bud. Go, go, go. Elvis, Elvis, Elvis,
Elvis. Elvis.
So he is
Elvis.
searching for a lemon-scented item out here on the presentation area, and he found it. We have never stumped him. So that is a stuffed koala, if you didn't notice, and that is an ode to our friends all the way over in our Australia Conservation Hub, where we had an amazing team of canines that are helping to locate and then help relocate wildlife that was displaced from those really devastating fires in 2019. So they're helping out all the way over there. And then even over in Africa as well, we have some scat detection dogs who are able to protect wildlife from poachers by locating them first. So we are able to protect them from the illegal pet trade and of course poachers as well. And then even in our own backyard, we did have a team of canines that were helping to locate a yellow mountain yellow-legged frog. And even a chihuahua was helping out in that. So canines of all sizes can help out. Elvis here has a really special story. So he was originally training to be a guide dog for Guide Dogs of America. We don't like to say that he failed the program, but he definitely did not pass. In his defense, it's a very difficult program, but he's a little bit too food motivated to guide someone who can't see. So he would probably lead them to a cheeseburger even if it's in the middle of the road. So he quickly realized we needed to stray away from that and move to a different career path. And he was career reassigned to live here at Wegeforth Bowl, and he is a companion to our 9-year-old South African cheetah, Alunga. Now, she and him have a very special relationship. They've been together since they were about 6 months of age, and they are pretty much brother and sister. So he is a surrogate sibling for her because she was the only surviving member of her litter. Because of that, her mother refused to care for her, and because there were no other cheetah cubs to pair her with at that time, that is where Elvis came in. So they do everything together, they cuddle together, they get the zoomies together, and every morning we come in, and Elvis has a mohawk all the way down his back from getting groomed by her. The only thing that they don't do together is eat. Of course, cheetahs are obligate carnivores. They have to eat raw meat in order to stay nice and happy and healthy. Elvis, being a little chunky golden lab mix, he is on a little bit of a diet, so he gets diet kibble and veggies. And being a domestic dog, if he were to eat raw meat all the time, he would get a pretty gnarly stomach ache. So we make sure that they eat separately, but other than that, they're pretty much hanging out 24/7. They do live here at Wegeforth Bowl, and we're very, very lucky to be able to share him with you and tell you a little bit more about his story and how canines are helping out wildlife all over the globe, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So we're very, very lucky to be able to talk about them. So let's give it up for Elvis. He did a great job on out here. And he loves coming out for his moment of stardom. So it wouldn't be the same without him. All right, so dare I say we saved the best for last. We are going to be meeting another species of canine, and this species of canine is pretty special. It's one of the rarest species of canine in the world, with less than 300 left on our planet today. It is the apex predator of the islands of Papua New Guinea. So this is the largest species of animal on Papua New Guinea, and they are at the top of the food chain. We are very lucky to have these guys here. This is our little duo of Papua New Guinea singing dogs. We've got Piccolo, who's coming out here first. He's a little bit more confident, and then his brother Zildjian will be trailing along behind him. And I'll talk a little bit more about them. These guys are about 15 years old, so they are a little bit of a geriatric case. They've been here since they were really young, and we're very lucky to be able to share them with you all. Like I said, this is one of the rarest species of canine in the world. They are closely related to dingoes, but they are from the islands of Papua New Guinea. So, about 10,000 years ago, there was a land bridge that connected New Guinea and Australia together. And at some point, a population of dingoes made its way over to Papua New Guinea. And then, of course, the ice age ended, the ice melted, and then the ocean filled in all the gaps, so they were isolated. And if you didn't know, most of the time on islands when populations get isolated, the individuals tend to get a little bit smaller and smaller over time because the carrying capacity of islands is much, much lower, so there's a lot less resources. So if you're smaller, you can have more in a population, which is exactly what happened with our beautiful singing dogs here. So even though they do look a lot like dingoes, they are a lot smaller. So these guys are fully grown, but they're not going to get any bigger, and that is what makes them so special. So this has been seen over on the Channel Islands. There were pygmy mammoths over there at one point. We've got our amazing Catalina and Channel Island foxes that are much smaller than our gray foxes that are found here on the mainland of California. And this is a phenomenon that tends to happen quite often on island chains. Of course, there's always exceptions to the rule, but these guys are pretty special. They're also a great representation of what happens to special cases of species when we don't know exactly how our actions impact species. Because of this, we almost hunted them to extinction, and there's only about 15 of them that were seen in 2017 out in their native habitat. So they are very, very close to extinction here, but we're lucky to be able to talk a little bit more about them because, of course, now that we know better, we can do better, even with things like our wolves here in America. And of course, cheetahs over in Africa. All of these endangered species need our help. So they're a great example of what can happen to a species when we're unable to step in and right our wrongs. But they are very special because they are called New Guinea singing dogs. They do get that name for a very interesting reason. So they do have a song. It is not quite like a howl. It's actually been, researchers have said that it's really kind of sounds close to a whale song, much different than a howl. And it's pretty interesting because there's not very many of them in a pack. They will make it sound like there's a lot more of them. So they will have a whole bunch of different frequencies when they howl. Since they're very old now, they don't usually howl for us out here on the presentation area. It's more of a bark or a yip, but I think we do have a recording if you guys want to hear. So that's them. They don't care at all, but you can hear how it does kind of sound like a whale song, and it's very interesting with all of their inflections and their pitch. Makes it sound like there's a lot more individuals in a pack than there actually are. So New Guinea singing dogs are very also interesting in their physiology as well. They have over time adapted to become a little bit more cat-like than other canines in the fact that they have very flexible spines and very flexible wrists, because if you think about it, on an island there's not much room to go out. You only really can go up. So they have evolved to be able to climb trees. These canines have very specialized wrists and spines. They've got great senses of smell and eyesight and hearing as well. And they will be going after things like small reptiles and birds and eggs to try and be opportunistic in that way. But we're very lucky to have them here. Our two little old men. Let's give it up for Piccolo and Zildjian, our New Guinea singing dogs. All right, everyone. So, the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance is creating a world where all life thrives, and never has this been more important. As first responders in the field, we are there applying a century knowledge to global conservation challenges. We collaborate, innovate, and hope to inspire people and wildlife to thrive together for it. Conservation truly is at the heart of everything that we do, but we really can't do it alone. We need dedicated allies like all of you. You can join the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance by, of course, becoming a member, helping to support some of our amazing conservation work worldwide, or even by volunteering your time and knowledge here on behalf of all of our wildlife and staff. We would love to have you, because your support really does make a world of a difference, not only for our wildlife here at the zoo, but also for wildlife and communities worldwide. So we really appreciate you coming out today. I hope you learned something that inspires you to take action in your own lives. Hope you understand the workings of our ecosystems all over the globe a little bit better after this presentation, and I hope you have a great rest of your day here at the San Diego Zoo. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.